Deep in the tropical forest, a revolution is happening in the treetop. No tools, no blueprints, no instruction manual. Yet somehow, one of nature's smallest creatures is building something extraordinary, a living nest, stitched together from fresh green leaves, held firm by threads spun from life itself. Meet the weaver ant, master architect of the insect world. Weaver ants are arboreal. They live, breed, and build entirely up in the trees. But what makes them truly unique is their building material. While most creatures rely on soil, bark, or dead plant matter, weaver ants build with something far more remarkable: living green leaves still attached to the branch. And that choice is no accident. Green leaves are flexible enough to fold, tough enough to resist wind and rain, and unlike dead organic material, they don't rot easily. So weaver ants seek out leaves that are young to mid-aged, pliable but strong, lightweight but durable, the perfect building material. And it's been growing right above them all along. The construction process is nothing short of extraordinary. First, scout ants identify the right location, a branch with plenty of flexible leaves, sheltered from heavy rain and safely out of reach from predators. Once the site is chosen, dozens, sometimes hundreds, of workers move into position simultaneously. They stretch out to the very edges of the leaves and begin pulling, bending, forcing two or more leaves toward each other until they meet. And here's where it gets remarkable. When the gap between leaves is too wide for a single ant to bridge, they don't give up. They grab each other, legs interlocked, jaws clenched, forming living chains that can stretch several centimeters long. With that combined strength, even large, stiff leaves can be bent and held in place like living origami. But holding the leaves in place is only half the job. Now they need to seal them, and for that, they turn to their own young. Worker ants carry unhatched larvae to the leaf edges. Carefully, deliberately, they press each larva against the surface, and the larva responds, releasing a fine silk-like thread. A fast-drying, protein-based adhesive produced naturally from within its own body. One by one, the ants move the larvae back and forth along the seam, stitching the leaves together like a needle and thread. When one larva runs out of silk, it's replaced with another. The process continues until every edge is sealed, every joint is tight, and the structure is complete. Scientific research has confirmed that these leaf joints are extraordinarily strong. In fact, far stronger than artificially glued equivalents produced in a laboratory. And the nest isn't just tough, it's clever. Small gaps are left at precise points throughout the structure, allowing air to circulate and humidity to regulate, but too narrow for any predator to squeeze through. Within hours, sometimes within a single day, the nest is finished. Inside, distinct chambers serve different purposes: storage for food, nurseries for eggs and larvae, a sanctuary for the queen, resting quarters for workers, and this is just one nest. In a large colony, weaver ants can maintain dozens of nests spread across multiple branches, sometimes spanning several trees entirely. Together, these nests function like the districts of a city: food depots, defense posts, maternity wards, transit hubs. If one nest is damaged, by a storm, a predator, or simple wear, the colony doesn't panic. They relocate, they rebuild. A new nest can be up and running in a remarkably short time. There's one more thing worth noting about weaver ant nests, and it's quite poetic. The nest is alive, literally. Because it's built from living leaves, the nest grows and changes along with the tree. But as those leaves age, wilt, and eventually fall, the nest goes with them. When that happens, the ants don't mourn the loss, they move on. Weaver ants are nomadic architects, always adapting, always building, always surviving. From a distance, a weaver ant colony looks like beautiful chaos. Ants rushing in every direction, hauling chunks of food, carrying larvae across swaying branches, engaging enemies without hesitation. But look closer, and what you find is the opposite of chaos. What you find is one of the most sophisticated social systems in the natural world, a hierarchy so efficient, so refined, it has remained virtually unchanged for millions of years. A weaver ant colony is, in every sense of the word, a kingdom. And like any kingdom, it has its hierarchy. At the very heart of the colony is the queen. She is larger than any other ant in the nest. Her abdomen, swollen and round, is a near constant production line of eggs. And she can keep producing for up to 7 years. She doesn't hunt, she doesn't build, she doesn't fight, she doesn't need to, because everything, every worker, every soldier, every larva in the nest exists because of her. There is only ever one queen per colony, and if she dies, the colony dies with her. No new eggs, no new workers, no future. That's why the workers protect her with absolute, unwavering devotion, not out of loyalty to a leader, but out of something deeper. Survival instinct, encoded in every ant in the nest. If the queen is the heart of the colony, the workers are its hands, its feet, and its lungs. They are the most numerous caste, potentially hundreds of thousands strong. And their lives are short, 3 to 6 months at most. But in that time, they do everything. They forage for food, they stitch the nest, they nurse the larvae, they clean the chambers, they tend to the queen. And while they may all look similar from the outside, workers are quietly divided into specializations. Some are foragers, scouting and retrieving food. Some are builders, maintaining and expanding the nest. Others never leave the interior, spending their entire lives caring for eggs and young. Workers are the colony's first contact with the outside world, and when danger comes, they're the first to respond. And then there are the soldiers, larger than workers, stronger jaws, sharper instincts. They stand guard at the nest entrance, they patrol the branches, they watch, and they wait. When a threat appears, another insect, a larger animal, even a human hand moving too close, the soldiers don't hesitate. They form ranks at the nest entrance, heads raised, jaws wide open, like troops snapping to attention. And within seconds, they strike, simultaneously, in force, but biting is only the beginning. As they bite, weaver ants inject formic acid directly into the wound, a chemical that causes intense burning pain. Even for humans, a weaver ant attack is not something easily forgotten. And once they've latched on, they don't let go. Some soldiers hold their bite so fiercely that their bodies literally tear apart. Yet the grip remains, even in death. That is the weaver ant soldier, fearless, relentless, and completely devoted to the colony. But a colony cannot survive forever on its own. At certain times of year, the colony produces a special generation, winged males and young queens. They gather, they take flight together, rising into the air in what scientists call the nuptial flight, a mating flight, the colony's way of sending its genes into the world. The males have one purpose, to mate with a young queen. After that, their job is done. They die. The young queens fly far from the nest, searching for the right location to begin something entirely new. When she finds it, she lands, sheds her wings, and begins building her very first nest. From one ant, a new kingdom begins. Weaver ants have no voice. They produce no sound we can hear, yet they communicate with breathtaking precision. Their language is chemistry, specifically pheromones, chemical signals produced within the body and released into the environment, detected by other ants through their highly sensitive antennae. There are at least 5 distinct types, each carrying a different message. Trail pheromones guide foragers to food and back again. The more ants follow a trail, the stronger it becomes. A self-reinforcing GPS system with no satellites required. Alarm pheromones spread instantly when danger is detected, triggering soldiers and workers to converge on a threat within seconds. Aggregation pheromones call ants together for a common task, like nest construction, drawing workers from across the entire colony. Sex pheromones drive the nuptial flight, attracting potential mates from other colonies during mating season. And finally, colony identity pheromones. Every single colony carries a unique chemical signature. Every member is marked with it. Any ant that enters the nest without that scent is immediately identified as an intruder and dealt with accordingly. Beyond pheromones, weaver ants also communicate through vibration, a process called stridulation, where they produce tiny vibrations by rubbing parts of their body together. These vibrations travel through the branch or leaf beneath their feet, completely inaudible to us, but clearly felt by every ant in the vicinity. Physical contact plays a role too. A tap of the antenna, a touch of the head, a gentle nip. Each one carries meaning, all of it, completely silent and completely effective. Researchers in artificial intelligence and swarm robotics have taken notice. The pheromone trail system has directly inspired routing algorithms used in modern computer networks, helping data find the fastest path, just as ants find the shortest route to food. Swarm robotics engineers are studying weaver ant behavior to design small autonomous robots that search for disaster survivors, clean environments, or carry out complex tasks, working together, sharing information, without a single centralized command. Nature, it turns out, solved these problems millions of years ago. But weaver ants don't just build nests, they shape ecosystems. In tropical forests across Asia, Africa, and Australia, they are quiet guardians, holding entire food webs together in ways most people never see. Their most celebrated ecological role is as natural pest controllers. Weaver ants are relentless predators of the insects that would otherwise devastate the trees they call home. Caterpillars, aphids, young grasshoppers, small beetles. The moment one lands on a leaf and begins to feed, the weaver ants know. They feel the vibration and they respond. Research conducted in Malaysia found that mango and cocoa trees inhabited by weaver ants showed significantly less leaf damage than unprotected trees and delivered dramatically higher crop yields. No chemicals, no pesticides, just ants. In a fascinating twist, weaver ants also maintain a rather unlikely partnership with certain small insects, particularly aphids and psyllids. These insects feed on plant sap and produce a sweet liquid called honeydew as a byproduct. Weaver ants don't eat them. They farm them. They protect these insects from other predators. They tend to them. And in return, they harvest the honeydew as a rich, reliable food source. It's a cross-species arrangement, one that has worked for millions of years. Though it must be said, for farmers, it's a complicated relationship. Because while weaver ants suppress many harmful pests, the aphids they protect can sometimes cause their own damage. Nature rarely offers simple answers. Healthy trees, thriving insects, birds and reptiles with prey to hunt, vegetation that keeps on growing. The presence of weaver ants in a single tree can sustain an entire food chain, quietly, invisibly, and without end. Some studies have also found that weaver ants play a role in seed dispersal. Certain seeds carry a small, fat-rich structure called an elaiosome, which attracts ants. Workers carry the seed back to the nest, consume the elaiosome, and discard the seed somewhere new. A new plant, a new location, spread not by wind, not by water, but by an ant. And in the grand cycle of life, weaver ants are not just predators, they are also prey, birds, lizards, frogs, larger insects. Many animals depend on weaver ants as a food source, drawing energy up through the food chain to the animals we can more easily see and name. Weaver ants are, in the truest sense, a keystone species of the tropical treetop, small enough to overlook, important enough to never ignore. In a world that prizes size, speed, and strength, the weaver ant offers a different lesson, that the most powerful systems are often the most humble. That intelligence doesn't require a brain the size of yours, and that something as small as an ant, armed with nothing but instinct, chemistry, and each other, can build something that has outlasted civilizations. The weaver ant, tiny in body, extraordinary in every other way,